Manchild News presents News on the March. Over 20 years after Band of Brothers premiered on HBO, the long-awaited companion miniseries about the 8th Air Force, Masters of the Air, has finally arrived on Apple TV. Here's hoping it flies rather than crashes. Super 7 has lost their license for Disney and The Simpsons, right in the middle of scattershot, incomplete waves of figures that is sadly characteristic of the company. Collectors are now holding the bag in the form of random groups of characters with no full cast for any Disney film or The Simpsons family. This should come as no surprise. Even their Silverhawks line still hasn't announced a Copper Kid figure. Super 7 is run by Brian Flynn, and Brian Flynn is plain f***ing weird. Indiana Jones is getting a new first-person shooter video game set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. Let's hope the game is good enough to rinse the dial out of our memories.
Tell him to back off.
I just told him to shoot you.
Indy's most famous competitor, Lara Croft, is finally getting remasters of her original trilogy of games. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 have gotten the facelift treatment with better graphics and modern control mechanics. The classic Miss Croft is jumping onto Steam and major consoles on Valentine's Day.
What's a man gotta do to get that kind of attention from you?
It's hard to say exactly, but you seem to be doing fine.
Deadpool 3 has finally completed filming after being delayed by a writer's strike that allegedly prevented Ryan Reynolds from improvising on set, then an actor's strike that shut the entire production down. Despite these concerns, Deadpool 3 remains Marvel's best last hope of reviving interest in their flagging cinematic universe. Let's hope Deadpool and Wolverine can pass some of that regeneration power over to Marvel Studios.
Well, I'm not even gonna attempt that.
While we're on the subject of regeneration, Reba McEntire has started development of a new television sitcom pilot for NBC. I know that's nothing we're interested in, but hey, might be a way to start a conversation with your parents, or your boring muggle boss at the office who is caught up in Stanley Cups and Taylor Swift.
Magazine!
Yeah! Conan the Barbarian is finally on 4K in all of its cinematic glory, at long last including every cut of the film. I should mention Conan the Destroyer has also been brought to 4K as well. Oddly, the maligned cousin to these films, Red Sonja, beat the Conan duology to the 4K format by 2 years. Enter at your own risk.
Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
No.
Speaking of kick-ass movie duos, Eureka has announced the triumphant arrival of Cynthia Rothrock's 2 China O'Brien films to 4K and Blu-ray. The films languished in European DVD hell for many years with terrible transfers. However, this April, Laurie China O'Brien is fully restored and taking names to save her small town and your film collection. This has been Manchild News for January 2024.